Longworth, and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from our home away from home, the Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. I hope you'll visit that. We'll tell you more about them later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up. We'll get into all sorts of controversial topics, but between now and then, some great guests, important information coming your way, including a discussion about the myths surrounding vaccines, all that and much more. But where we want to start is Habitat for Humanity. You all know about that organization. We're talking about the Habitat for Humanity for Forsyth. Two very special guests, and they have some news to talk about. On my immediate right, Dwayne Thompson's Director of Restore Operations for Habitat for Humanity in Forsyth County, socially distanced and in the center chair. With me is Gina Fox. She's Assistant Manager of the Peters Creek Restore Habitat for Humanity. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
I've
us.
sort of let the cat out of the bag because I mentioned Peters Creek, but we'll get to that in just a second. Dwayne, how are the restores and Habitat for Humanity related? Because people say, what do you mean a restore?
So what the restores are is a fundraising arm for Habitat for Humanity. So we take gently used products that the community goes, I really don't need this sofa anymore. I don't need these bedroom furniture anymore. And we'll take those donations, we'll clean them up, fix them up sometimes, and then we turn around and sell it, and all the proceeds go back to Habitat Forsyth to help us with our housing programs.
Absolutely. It's a great thing, and we'll get with Gina in just a minute about one of the stores. But speaking of that, since you're over the operations of the stores, Dwayne, now you already have, 4 stores or 3 stores up and running already, and then the Peters Creek is what, the fourth?
That's right. We have 3 stores.
Okay, now somebody said, well, wait a minute, Dwayne, why do you need a 4th store? What's the 4th store? What's Gina's store going to do? What will that benefit?
Well, we did a market study, and what we really realized that we took 40, and all of our stores was north of Interstate 40. We had nothing on the south side of Forsyth County. Not only did we not have a restore, we just didn't have, Habitat Forsyth didn't have a presence down on the south side.
Gotcha.
So he's like, we really need to have some kind of presence with the community on the south side of Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. So we picked Peters Creek.
Gina, let's talk about Peters Creek store, the new store. And you're kind of the new girl in town too, because you said before we started, you just started in April, and so we welcome you to that.
Thank you.
What kind of special items can we see in your store?
Well, majority of what we have in our store are donated goods from our community. However, we do have some things that are new goods that we're able to bring in at a low cost for us and for our consumer. So we have things like new mattresses and box springs.
Wow.
We have linens that fit all sizes, the bamboo pillows in different sizes as well. In addition to that, we have Safavaya Goods, which is a furniture and lighting company that we are able to bring in at a low cost. We take 40% off as soon as we bring it into the door. And currently, we have a sale going on, 20% off through May 29th.
All right, so you're already open officially then,
We
right?
are.
So people can just wander right on in.
Absolutely, come to see us.
And if they get there too early, they can either knock on the door or call you at home.
Sure.
No, that's fine. Dwayne, now what items in general, not just at Peters Creek, but in general, what items is Habitat Restores in need of?
In need of, I would say anything that goes in your house or on your house is what we're looking for. We're always looking for those, the sofas, the love seats, the living room furniture. Bedroom furniture is a big need. One of the things that a lot of our donors don't realize is that we will take used mattresses. So instead of sending those used mattresses that's only been on your bed for in your house for 8 years or so, instead of sending those off to the landfill, they can call us. We'll have them cleaned, sanitized, and then we turn around and resell those.
Now, you were talking about, let's talk about that process very quickly before we run out of time. Larger items, you guys will pick up, right?
That's right. We have a donation hotline number that anyone within Forsyth County can call. We'll come by, pick them up for free. If they don't want to call us, they can go to habitatforsyth.org/restore/donate and just book their own donation pickup.
Sure. And if it's smaller items, do I come by the restore or just anywhere? Where do I drop off smaller items?
You could drop off any of the smaller items at any of the 4 locations. So if you're here in Kernersville, drop it off at the Kernersville location, Louisville at the Louisville location, Winston-Salem, they got 2 locations to choose from now.
All right. I want to reiterate the general website, which will get you to all the different places, and that's habitatforsyth.org. That's the main website. get you where you need to go, and then spin off from there. But I think it's exciting. Gina, welcome again, and thanks for taking care of the Peters Creek store.
Thank you.
And Dwayne, thanks for your time and all you're doing.
Yep, thank you.
All right, we'll be right back after this. Maybe the most important visual aid I've held up in my 50 years of doing television, because we're going to try to make everybody more aware of these signs and symptoms of stroke, and an expert is with us to help us do it. Right next to me, Dr. Jason Edsel, Chief Medical Officer and Emergency Department Physician at Northern Regional Hospital. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Let's go through this, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, now we can see that it spells out be fast. We're going to tell you why you need to be fast about recognizing these signs, but let's go through each letter. B, there's an indicator on the little cartoon there of balance. What does that mean?
Well, certainly if someone starts stumbling around kind of all of a sudden, that's what we mean by balance when it comes to stroke.
Watch out for that. There's an E and a cartoon figure of eyes. What does that have to do with the symptom there?
Sure, when we talk about eyesight, what we're talking about is typically a cut in their eyesight. Maybe they can't see anything on the left side. Again, all of a sudden.
So it's blurred for no reason.
That's correct,
Okay.
yes, sir.
F, and we see a face indicated there on the drawing. Something looks like it's, what, drooping or?
That's correct, yes. One side of the face may be drooping down and they can't make a smile, sort of like the Mona Lisa.
Okay. Now, A is indicates arm, but I guess this could also mean a leg as well, but A for arm. What are we talking about, some kind of weakness or what?
That's correct. You would see a droop on one side of the arm. They couldn't hold it up as good as they hold up the one on the other side.
All right. S for speech.
A slurred speech pattern. Maybe they repeat things over and over again. Maybe they slur their words together.
Right. Now, the final one is T for time, and the indicator on the little drawing there is time to call 911. My question to you is, why do we need to be so quick? Why is time so important?
Well, our interventions for stroke are really time-based. The best interventions we have, things like clotbuster drugs, have to be given within 3 to 4.5 hours of the onset of symptoms. There are new and exciting new strategies to treat strokes that go out as far as 24 hours, but the quicker, the better. Millions of nerve cells die every moment that the brain is without blood.
So time is of the essence. And that's why I think this, and I want to thank you and Ashley and the whole team for providing me with this, because I didn't want to just flash up something electronically for a second. I just thought it was good to keep reminding folks about these symptoms and what to do for it. Let me ask you, does stroke affect everybody the same? I mean, is it more women than men, black than white, young than old?
Well, it can affect anyone of any age. However, we do see a prevalence in older folks, especially women.
Anything I can do, I want to put you on the spot, we didn't rehearse this, but is there anything that folks can do to maybe prevent getting a stroke later on?
Absolutely. Quit smoking. Control your diabetes, control your high blood pressure, ask your doctor about treatments for high lipids in your blood, like high cholesterol.
Yeah.
Those things can help modify your risk for stroke much later in life.
Make regular visits to the doctor, get the blood test. And boy, I appreciate you taking time to do this, and I know you are seriously a lifesaver, and I appreciate all the work you do for folks, and thanks for coming down and doing this.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity, sir.
All right, Doc. Here up on screen, choosenorthern.org is the website, choosenorthern.org. Today, always glad we can spend a few minutes with the good folks from Alamance Community College, and we have a first-time visitor from the campus here today. So glad she's here. Sally Newman is with us. She's Director of Occupational Programs for Alamance Community College. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thanks for coming to the garden. It's pretty, isn't it?
It's gorgeous.
I would say that I planted everything, but I didn't have anything to do with it. What exactly do we mean when we say occupational programs? What does that entail in today's job market? Help me out on that.
That entails us setting up training programs, heavy equipment programs, medical programs. We have phlebotomy, we have medical assistant, we have personal care assistant.
You got a wide range of things.
We have a very wide range to help people to get new skills or to upgrade their skills.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you, because some people will say, well, I'm kind of already in that field, I want to upgrade. Other people say, you know, I've just either been laid off or during the pandemic, or I'm looking for a new career change, and you can help in either situation.
Either situation, all they have to do is call the Workforce Continuing Education Department at Alamance Community College, and we are there ready to help them.
Now, You know, I've talked before with the president of Alamance Community College, and we've talked about this before, but it seems to me that you really focus on trying to stay up with industry and what their
Yes.
needs are. And is that how you kind of tailor what you're going to offer for training? Because there's no sense in training somebody for something if the job isn't there.
Exactly, yes, and you know, we have a lot of logistics companies coming to Alamance and Gifford too, but of course I'm in Alamance, so we're looking at starting logistic technicians, logistic maintenance workers as well. So yes, we do have to keep up with what the latest trend is as far as relevant jobs and with good paying wages as well.
What kind of classes are coming up anytime soon that somebody might want to register for?
We do have the medical assistant class coming up, and we have the personal assistant, and that's non-medical. That's where they don't have to get medicine.
Right,
And then we
right.
have heavy equipment coming up in the fall.
So you're talking about somebody learning what, to run a combine or run a machine in an industry or?
Definitely doing excavators.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
bulldozers
the
and-
bulldozers where you see out on the highway where they're doing all the construction.
Wow.
And because we partner with Triangle Paving and Grading, so the Kirkpatrick, so the students actually get hands-on with the machines. They go to job sites with Triangle Paving.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what, and then they also have to learn the maintenance. They have to do a little bit of math. They do some blueprint reading, so it's totally hands-on.
Wow, I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
Now, I know that this isn't for free,
No.
but are there, if I say to you, well, wait a minute, Sally, I'm kind of strapped for cash through the pandemic. Are there scholarships available?
Yes, yes. Alamance, our foundation is very good as providing partial scholarships for our students, and not all the community colleges does that, so I consider us very fortunate to work very well with our foundation. And sometimes we will do full scholarship. It just depends on the person's situation. And then not only that, we have our workforce partners, and they have scholarship. And then we have some of the COVID money for scholarship as well. So that should not be a hindrance for anyone seeking us out about new training.
I just think that's great.
Yeah.
We didn't rehearse this or anything. I'm just curious. I know you love your job. You get a lot of gratification from it. Is that because you're helping people get work or what?
Yeah, I'm just passionate about education, period. I think truly the community college is that bridge between high school and someone getting a job or going to a 4-year college. So I do believe us being that bridge.
You are a human bridge builder. That's what
Thank you, I
are.
like that.
That's what you are, Sally. That's your new title.
I like that.
Yeah, you go back and tell the president. That's
I
what
will.
said. Up on screen is the general website, alamancecc.edu. Please visit that. All sorts of good information. The main campus number, 5782002. There are a couple different campuses, but I just gave you the main one. But you can go to the website and find out what you need. Human bridge builder.
Human bridge
Sally,
builder.
good
I
to
like
see you.
that. Thank you. It's
All
a
right.
pleasure.
Triad Today, and over the past year or more, we've talked a lot about the pandemic, about all sorts of aspects of it. We want to focus in on vaccines right now, and what is the truth about vaccines? We'll clear up some of the myths. Two gentlemen are going to help us get started on this. On my immediate right, Mark Hensley is Associate State Director for Community Outreach and Advocacy, also on the vaccine lead staff for AARP of North Carolina, and our good buddy who's been here before, socially distanced behind us in the center, Roger Berendis, Vice President, COO, and partner of First Light Home Care with our good friend Tina Glenn. Welcome, guys. Good to see you.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here. First Light Home Care mission is to keep people safe and secure within their home, and to educate the consumer on various topics related to their health. We affiliate and partner with people like Mark Hensley, AARP, and others, so that we can provide a full knowledge and a range of services to the consumer.
Well, and I want to thank Roger and Tina for suggesting that we get Mark to come over here, because I want to go down a list, Mark, of 7 common myths associated with vaccines. Let's see if we can clear this up. Myth number 1, if you've already had COVID-19, you don't need to get vaccinated.
Well, that's absolutely not true, because even though you may have built up some antibodies, people have gotten COVID for the second time after having it the first time, and it's much worse the second time.
Good point. Once you receive the vaccine, you're immune for life.
Well, that would be great, but the science does not really support that. Even with the vaccine, you're not immune for life. And so the question is, how soon do we need to have boosters available?
You can ditch your mask, get rid of the mask after being vaccinated.
Well, we know that the governor has lifted the mask restriction in North Carolina, but there's still CDC guidance about wearing a mask, even though you're vaccinated, in large groups, because you simply don't know who has been vaccinated and who hasn't.
Now, here's one that I hear a lot. People say, you know, I'm not going to get the COVID vaccine because I've heard that they use a live version of the virus and they put the virus in you when they give you the vaccine.
Well, that's actually not true, because the vaccine is to stimulate your body's natural resistance to any type of infection, but especially COVID-19, much like the vaccine for the flu. And we know that this year, flu has been dramatically reduced, almost insignificant, with the 3 Ws and also wearing a mask.
Right, even before the vaccine, that whole, we were talking the other day with some folks, all these people wearing masks, you don't see a lot of flu deaths going on.
Right. This vaccine does not actually penetrate the cell, and you can't really change a person's DNA. You certainly, by injecting a live virus, would not effectively boost the immune system.
I might want to change my DNA, but you can't do it through the vaccine. All right, speaking of that, vaccines can alter your DNA.
Well, no, they cannot, because this vaccine does not penetrate the cell, and that's the only way to change DNA. That's a really common myth that's out there. There's also been one about they're putting a tracking device in people. I'll tell you, we actually pay for the tracking device. We carry it around in our pocket all the time, and we pay for it, which is our cell phone.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of these conspiracy theories, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I guess there are people that have religious objections to getting vaccines. And in some cases, there are people that have severe reaction to any kind of vaccine. And so the doctors will help advise people, but you know, get with your doctor and get that information rather than just refusing to get one categorically. Now, my wife and I got the Johnson & Johnson, but a lot of people got the 2-dose. If you get both doses, let's say it's Moderna. One myth is, well, I'll just get 1 dose of the 2-dose. Is that okay?
Well, absolutely, it does have an impact. Right now, as of today, 50% of Americans have received at least 1 dose, but that only builds your immunity up about 57%.
Okay.
To really have the full immunity, you need both doses.
And if you've got any kind of allergy, I'm not going to take the vaccine. Is that necessarily true?
So AARP's advice and the CDC's advice is, if you've had a reaction to any type of vaccine in the past, talk to your primary care physician.
Good advice. Up on screen, I want to do this for AARP first, aarp.org/NC. That gets you some information about what Mark and his team are up to. And then for Roger and Tina and all the good folks at First Light, their website, firstlighthomecare.com, or you can call the number on screen, 252-5458. Gentlemen, thanks for doing this. Roger, thanks for inviting Mark, and we appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be back after this. Now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden, our home away from home, and we have their website on screen, but more importantly, visit that and visit the garden, and you can have your meetings and receptions and weddings and all sorts of things out here. Now, one thing you can have out here is the roundtable, and let's get right to it. On my right, but always the political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster and journalist. Seated behind him, the great educator, professor, former superintendent, now vice chair of the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners, Dr. Don Martin, and Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Guys, let's get right to it. This is one of those things, this is not going to be a multiple choice thing. I want to hear your reasoning on this one. Now that face masks and social distancing requirements are sort of going away from the pandemic, I want each of you to give Governor Roy Cooper a letter grade on how he has performed during the pandemic, a letter grade, and explain your grade. Ogie Overman.
I give him an A-.
Okay.
I think he did a great job following the science, following the CDC guidelines, not being over restrictive, but just right on time with everything. I give him the minus because schools were, and the vaccine rollout went smoothly. schools were just so all over the map. There was no coherent strategy to getting schools reopened, partly, home, school. And I don't know how much sway he had with the local school boards. Don would know that. But
A- from Ogie. What do you give him, Don?
Well, for communication, I give him an A. I think communication was great. I think for some of the initial startup, there was some uncertainty. I'd probably go into the B plus, A minus. I actually think he worked some with the with the legislature on a couple things, but most recently the unemployment issue, the school issue. As far as the legislation finally to open up, he actually worked with them, but it was all over the place prior to that.
Keith Granberry, letter grade.
I give him an A. His communication was great. When this pandemic started, nobody was prepared, so I don't think anyone can say that anyone's prepared for what we had. So you can't grade a person based on the uncertainty of what happened in this uncertain times, but all the work he did, the unemployment, the pandemic relief fund, I think he did an amazing job in this state, and he was cautious, which many states moved quicker than him, and I thought it was the right way to do it.
Yeah, I would not have given him an A simply because I thought that he needed to consult more with the Council of State folks. There was a lawsuit about that which sort of went off the rails, but I think he could have done a better job at not being too authoritarian. And he also could have done a better job of coordinating with our theater friends across the state to find out what their plan was for trying to get open at least partially during that, which he did not do. All right. Speaking of Governor Cooper, he's reinstated strict rules for receiving unemployment benefits. Many states are doing this now. Starting June 6th, if you want to keep receiving an unemployment check, you will have to prove that you've contacted at least 3 businesses about a job. You guys okay with that, or is it too soon to enforce these rules, Ogie?
no, I am. People need to get back to work, and there's jobs available. So yeah, that's reasonable.
Don?
I'm okay because people can be vaccinated without a doubt, so they can be safe in that way, and jobs are available.
Mr. Granberry?
I'm okay with it. I think that number one, looking at 3 jobs is not a lot, and many states are rejecting the employment funds that the president is giving in, which I don't clearly understand.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, meanwhile, Governor Cooper is now deciding on how to spend, speaking of that, $5.7 billion in federal pandemic relief money. Some states are spending the money on K through 12, some on HBCUs, some on infrastructure, some on building hospitals, etc. How would you like to see this money spent, Ogie?
One of the areas that was really is a warm spot in my heart for musicians and creative class people. They got slaughtered. There was no work for musicians. I mean, it was just pitiful.
Don?
I think my number one issue would be broadband. I mean, that last mile cost is so huge, and we have a chance to sort of take care of that kind of once and for all. I think college scholarships, that opportunity to really practice and see if the community college scholarship issue, free community college, makes that kind of a difference. And I also think pre-K has been stagnant in this state for 10 years. There needs to be a big investment there.
Boost it.
And yeah, so I think there should be some incentives for good ideas at the local levels to match with the state.
Keith?
I think number one, there needs to be some funding for housing, employment training, true training for people, because there are jobs available. The jobs that are available, many people don't want the jobs that are available, So I think training to get them real jobs is really critical to getting the economy back on track.
One state lawmaker, very quickly, is angry about the printer replacement, ink replacement type costs that go with these printers, and he wants to make it a law that the printing companies have to put on the product in the boxes very clearly how much the printing costs are going to be to replace cartridges and that kind of thing. Good idea, or could this set a bad precedent for businesses who make printers? Quickly, Ogie.
I don't think that's a great idea. I mean, if you got to do it for them, you about got to do it for everybody.
Don?
Well, I think it's a bad idea. I think, yeah.
Keith?
It's a terrible idea, even though printing companies make more money on the cartridges than they do the printers. But
Right.
it's a terrible idea because it'll open up a can of worms.
All right, some airlines are refusing to issue full refunds for plane tickets during the pandemic cancellations. Should Congress step in, as some congressmen want to do, should Congress step in and require the airline companies to fully refund customers for these COVID-related cancellations? Ogie?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know airlines got hit, but how many billions of federal bailout money did they get? No, that's reprehensible.
Don?
I think so. I think it should refund them all.
Keith?
They should refund them because they want people to get back to traveling again. So I don't understand why they wouldn't.
All right. Finally, scientists say there's a new strand of cicada which engages in such wild mating rituals that their butt actually falls off during sex. Now, this is a scientific story. I'm not making it up.
Yeah, it is.
It is a true story.
I
Guys,
believe it, yeah.
guys, if you could choose to be any insect in the world, would you want to be a cicada, Ogie?
It wouldn't, no, not for 17 years. I can see why their butt would fall off after 17
After
years.
17 years.
I'd like to be a ladybug.
A
I
ladybug.
think they're cool, no, people
Don.
like them.
Just no.
You would not want to be a cicada. Keith, would you want to be a cicada?
Why would I want to be something where my butt would fall off? I mean, I don't understand the question. What kind of, I want to be a tiger or a lion. I won't be no cicada.
Obviously-
I don't even know what a cicada is.
Obviously, you guys do not follow the science. It's a very serious question. Well, that's all the time we have. It's sort of related to nature and everything. This is a bad one here. The shoppers at a grocery store in Anchorage, Alaska are upset because a wild raven has been swooping down in the parking lot and stealing groceries out of their bags as they're trying to get to their cart to the car. And asked if he intended to go back to the Raven Haven grocery store. One shopper said, nevermore. It's Edgar Allan
Made
Poe.
up for the cicadas.
Yeah, made up for that. For all of us here, I'm Jim Longworth. We're going to go study insects. We'll be next week.